Well, first of all, great that you guys are here this morning to see what's happening in the world of shipping. But first, let's start to introduce myself. As the gentleman said, this goes quick, huh? All right. Yeah, I'm Arjen van Veen. I'm founder of Fair Transport. That is the world's first shipping company that is shipping with emission-free vessels. So there's no motors on the boats of ships, and that's how we transport goods from A to B. And that's why I brought this rum bottle. Is what that has to do actually with this company. Well, this is a Trashomers rum bottle that is transported from the Caribbean to here, emission free. So that's the whole thing. Next to coffee, next to cocoa, we transport that all from the Caribbean or overseas products. So that's what's gonna be this presentation about. The company is bigger than me, but I will hopefully I can show that in the presentation. I can talk about that more. So Back to the Future is actually I always use it to say what can we use from the past into the future. So past technologies into future technologies and modern technologies, current technologies. And as you see here, it's a clipper ship. It was the top of the bill back in the days of shipping, before fossil fuels came and took it over from the shipping. This was pure wind-driven vessels, and they did it all without pollution. And they didn't take potatoes to the other side of the world, or take garlic to the other side of the world. No, they took precious, high commodity goods. Something to think about. But it all started here in 2000 in Amsterdam actually. We boarded the Europa, a 3-mast tall ship that was bound for the Americas. Yeah, it was intriguing to us because we went to nautical school in Enkhuizen close by here, and we became master mariners, but we didn't have the sea time yet, only the diploma. So, yeah, as we were there, I was 26, the middle one, Andreas, from Austria, he's 24, and Jorne was 22 from Delft. And young entrepreneurs, not even entrepreneurs, we just were, sailors that helped the ride on the ocean. And so actually we came on board of the Europa to say, well, is there another way of transporting goods from A to B without having a pollution? So it was obvious that we were transported across the Atlantic by a sailing vessel. So why couldn't we then transport coffee or cocoa or olive oil to and from the Caribbean? Like, no, not cocoa to the Caribbean, because that's not obvious. Because it's not grown here in Europe. So that is one thing, right? So that's where it started. And then if you're young, you dream about it, of making a business plan and making a company. And this was our first business plan then, not this one. Hello. What? Yeah, this one. So the business plan is actually pretty jokey, this one, because if you look at it, it has all, not even jokey. It's if you look at it, it has everything in it. It has trade and it has a sailing vessel. So more is there. Trading makes a business model, and the wind is for free. So yeah, you don't even spend any money on fuel. So yeah, very logical. And I think back in the days in the West Indian Company and the VOC, United East Indian Company, yeah, they thought about the same. So we just copied them and thought this could work. We don't trade slaves. That's not what we do. That was a bad thing we did in the past. So now we do clean transport. I have to focus on this one, huh? Yeah. Okay, that one. So where you start? You start in a company, in a building. So Den Helder gave us a place to start building our company, a volunteer company at first, because we had no money at all, but we had a lot of ambition. We had a lot of dreams to create a world, a small world around us that were thinking the same as us. We go on sailing and we need to carry products to get there. So this Den Helder, you see already the ship. That is, I think this ship was already ready, but this is not 2007. It will come. So we started looking for a ship and money. So this one. So we started a shipping company, giving out shares, like stocks. We didn't go to the stock market, but stock sounds so stock marketed. But you can also, it's like a modern way now, we call it crowdfunding, but that was not that. And in 2007, crowdfunding was not so cool. Just like sustainability, duurzaamheid was not that great yet. It was starting to come up in 2005. So that's why we thought, wow, this is the time to start a business and to focus on a dream of us, a goal to transport goods by sail without pollution. So we gave out shares in a ship that we just bought, and as you see, during crisis time from 2007 to 2012, we sold 500 shares of €1,000. So that's €500,000. And when we first started off, what's this? What's this one? Come on. Come on. Yeah, this was the whole. This is what we saw. And this is where we fell in love with. We needed a ship to build. But without money, you can't go to an architect to design a ship what you like. So that costs a lot of money, unless the architect does it on no cure, no pay. But nobody wanted to do that at that time. So we fell in love with this vessel, and the three of us then, not only me. And she had such perfect lines. We could already seen that, and anybody is a sailor. You see a ship and you fall in love sometimes. It is something, and then you're blind, and then you don't know what is going on, how much work it is lies ahead of you. So the next, what we did, we took the engine out, and the previous owners, they just had the last 10 years they had put the engine in, but we took them out, and we bought actually the vessel for €4,500. So that was the only money we had personal, and so we took the engine out and started retrofit the vessel into a sailing vessel. A sailing vessel doesn't need an engine, otherwise it's a motor vessel, right? So that's the whole idea around it. And this vessel, as later proved, is a very well seaworthy, maneuverable ship. And after 2.5 years of work by a lot of volunteers, we ended up with a hull like this. It has, as you see, has no propeller anymore. We took the propeller off, the shaft off, and this whole the underwater ship, it's just like a whale, a beautiful shape, and it's not as slow as a whale, but it's as fast as an orca. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole shipbuilding thing. We did this with. Yeah. You have to get the hang of this thing. Yeah, there he is. You didn't get. Yeah, we did it with the volunteers, and without the volunteer help to start a company with no money, it's not gonna work. You need a community, a building community that spreads the word itself. They're all ambassadors. You need them to build a ship or a project like this. As you know, you're creative people, so you know if you're creative, you find other creative people to realize something, right? So that's what we accomplished. And here she is. She sails after 2.5 years of building, and our first route was to the hurricane victims of hurricane in Haiti. That was in 2010 when we brought humanitarian aid from Europe to Haiti on the sail. Yeah, and then we coming into a next stage. Yes, here she is sailing, but we sailing amongst dirty waters and dirty air. And yes, we are sea blind. If you all know how much the shipping is polluting, the only ships, and how many casualties they give, then you would say we should stop this shit. Yeah? Really, we should stop shipping with dirty fuel. There are other alternatives to do so. So why are we not going to do it? We would demand to do it because here on land we are affected by the fine, ultra fine particles of the emission of the cargo ships, and not our ships, of course, but the cargo ship. And that's what I just want to press. It is if you have. I will go on with the next slide because this shows more. See, this is the shipping routes of the world, and the red is danger, right? Normally, or something you have to think about. So red is, as you see, if you look at Europe. I hope you did your geography good. This is Europe. Yeah, this is Caribbean. There are some clean spaces there. But here, this is all red, huh? It's pretty damn bad. I live in Rotterdam, sorry, but I live in Rotterdam. I'm a Frisian, but living in Rotterdam. There are more Frisian actually living out Friesland than inside Friesland. Wondering why. But it's beautiful nature there. The people are actually really great, and you should go there because Friesland is the Friesland Boppen. But in Friesland we have the cleanest air of the Netherlands because all the dirty air is passing from the shipping. So that's great of Friesland. But as you see, I want to just point out here. What is that? Here, that we are living in a very dirty, polluted area. In Rotterdam, I smoke, and my son smokes 2.5 cigarettes per day, actually, of just inhaling outside air. Yeah. Without nicotine, I don't get any high. So, but it's my choice to live in Rotterdam, but not his choice yet. You know, he goes where I go. And that is, but this is a little burden on me, because I take his choice. And I want to change that. And by doing so, I just want to show there's an alternative. There are alternatives. If we, next one? Yeah. If we leave oil, burning the oil for shipping alone, we have to get rid of that oil. It is chemical waste that is out refined. You can only make asphalt out of it here on land, and they burning it in the most dirtiest way on board of cargo vessels outside of the European zone. Inside the European zone, they have to go already on a cleaner fuel, but outside Europe, an emission area, they can burn the most dirtiest fuel. This is chemical waste. Pure chemical waste. There is even, only in the Netherlands, there is a law that we can mix chemical waste into the oil for ships, like heavy oil. That's only in Holland. There are ships on the Mediterranean that go to Rotterdam just to fill up there because it's cheaper. Because Shell and the other companies do this. They are allowed to do this. We are sea blind again, and all this pollution, all this carbon, and that is coming into us, but also reaching our poles with the carbon is dark. Black carbon, deposits on the North Poles and the South Poles, because that's where the winds and the coral effect, and the black carbon ends up there. So it will also melt the snow faster because black is absorbing. Well, I don't have to tell you that. So, here in Amsterdam, we talk about, you can read it yourself. So, what it says, one of those cruise ships here only in port one day pollute as much as 1 million cars. Now they're talking about they're banning the mopeds in store. Yeah, they should actually, because they stink. That's really ultra fine particles that are really harming us. And this can go for free because this one is not. It's not part of the city. They leave again. So that's why they don't take them in account in the calculation of air pollution in the town. It is horrendous, isn't it? Yeah. Why is this in? What is that? That's weird. Okay, well, this is a nice one. Yeah. Our shipping routes are actually going to the Caribbean and back, but we are thinking of bigger ships like this one. For example, Back to the Future, to sail products from China or to China. For example, olive oil and wine to China, and from China we're coming back with precious, perishable, non-perishable goods, and goods that we can't produce or fabricate here in the Netherlands. The rest we don't transport. And this is shipping road. See, this is the trade we are doing. We started with with rum coming back from Haiti. We had no cargo, so the first thing we thought, well, what's actually appealing to people, and you can make a little business out of it. That is by importing rum. So we bought our rum in the Dominican Republic. And that was 3,000 bottles, and that's we sailed back to Europe, and that was our first capital to plan another voyage next year. And that's how we built our company. And then the chocolate makers came along, the chocolate makers here in Amsterdam North. They came along and they said, well, we would like to transport our chocolate, our cocoa, with you. So we can make here the most sustainable and pure chocolate bars in the world. And they did. and we transport. Now we transport 10,000 kilos, 10 tons of cocoa for them. So they come all into this chocolate bar of Tres Hombres. And this is a rum, one of the bottles. We every year we have a different sort of rum, and next year we have also a different sort of rum, but it's all in the same line. So we looking into spices and other cargo owners, like cargo owners that want to ship with us, like these chocolate makers, and that's how we run a business, and that's how we can grow a business to if there are more people that want to sell their goods. For example, coffee. We import our own coffee as well. So if anybody here knows somebody that is actually serving coffee, the most sustainable coffee in the world is the coffee we have, because we transport it. Is that a great marketing tool? And that is what this is all about. Yeah? Creating something that wasn't there yet. And take that also in your account, creating something that is not there yet. And that is the challenge, to find that one, the niche in the market. This is a film of in Haiti. Yeah. This one. Yeah, you can play it.
My name is Niels Olsen, and I work for WFP, which is World Food Program in Haiti. My job is logistics officer, shipping and port captain, and I'm here today to supervise the loading of the Tres Hombres with cargo for Jacques Mel. Everybody in the organization was in favor of doing this operation to promote environmental shipping.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. But even the World Food Program transported with us from Haiti to inside Haiti, because there was a roadblock by a mudslide. So we did the transport by sail. Great, isn't it? We served a lot of people with humanitarian aid, also there, local. And we started like a fair transport logo, and like trademark you can put on the package. We didn't deposit it into a registered theme or a company. Now we did it ourselves, and this is the most purest thing. Do it yourself, and if regulations say you can't do it, then you might change something. So just start doing. A lot of people just talk and drink coffee. It is very good drinking coffee, but you have to start doing it. Then, if it's bad what you're doing, then you should change it. But being naive, that is how we started. Being naive is a good trait, because if you're not naive and you know everything already from the beginning, then you wouldn't do it, and then you wouldn't sit here, for sure. You creative people, because you create the money. So a cup of coffee helps. Talk about it and just start doing, and that's what we do. This is last slide and film. It shows what we are intending to do in the coming years. We want to build a bigger fleet of sailing vessels that have an electric drive, electric engines, and like batteries as ballast and of course as power tool. So think about what you could do with this. Thinking of a Tesla at sea. This is again a new thing. Nobody has been thinking about this, because sail is so old-fashioned, that we don't use sail anymore. We think about fossil fuels. We think about oil. We are oil-driven. If you take oil away from everybody now, everybody will collapse in a short time. Not mentally or not. Yeah, maybe not, but physically also not. But the whole system will collapse. It will be good actually to start something new, and then you are there to take your chances and to create a new economy, and that's where we're going for. And this 5-minute video shows what is possible, where we started, and how we will proceed.
Early in the morning at Brest Harbor, sailors, dealers, and businessmen prepare a mysterious transaction. A smuggler's deal or a big coup? No. We are witnessing a significant futuristic experiment.
About ship helms alee!
Is it possible in the 21st century to deliver cargo just by the power of the wind? Andreas Lackner takes on the challenge.
Ja, die winnen plastic boxer.
Born in the mountains of Austria, his passion is the sea. Together with his friends, Lackner restored an ancient sailing vessel. The CreativeMornings delivers cargo on the transatlantic route. We're going to revolutionize cargo shipping. We want all cargo boats to have sails. The CreativeMornings is just the beginning.
Het begin van allem.
Nowadays, cargo business means giant vessels, enormous amounts of containers, delivery just in time. It is a fight, David against Goliath. But Andreas Lackner has got mighty allies. The Dijkstra Company in Amsterdam is one of the world leaders of ship design. In this office, the most amazing inventions take place. Together with Lackner, the naval architects developed the freighter of the 21st century, powered by the wind. Becomes more and more concrete. A container freighter driven by automatic sails. This innovative ship is the Revolutioner's hardware, and the software is at hand as well. A routing program adapted to the ship's design, fed with the sailing instructions of the old windjammer captains, combining it with satellite-based weather data. So the software can calculate the optimal route and navigate automatically. That makes the whole thing possible. The revolution we are talking about. These new scientific results and inventions make it work. The vision becomes reality, developed in this think tank. But this vessel will be only one ship out of a whole armada. Similar concepts are being developed at the same time all over Europe. In France, Great Britain, Scandinavia, Spain, and Germany. The revolution has already begun.
Yeah, I was asked to come here to speak, and I did, and I hope you listened well and you act responsibly. If you get children, then there's a whole new dimension coming to you. Then you don't only think about yourself, you think about the next generation, and that is driving me to do this, to go beyond the horizon, to create something new. I'm here also to answer some questions, and of course you creative thinkers come with questions and remarks. Yeah, later.
I just wanted to know, did you have to modify the keel of your first boat?
Yeah, we had to modify our keel because it was not a sailing vessel before.
Right.
And to make the vessel more sturdy, because it was a wood steel vessel, it's like a composite built vessel, we added a steel keel to it and we bolted a steel keel on top of the wooden keel, so it was sandwiched into the frames. 12 tons of ballast.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Gentlemen?
Hey, it said in the film at the end that there's other concepts for this being developed. Have they already, and are they your competition now, or?
Yeah, well, I can be proudly say there are some vessels, they are doing the same what we did, and we gave them all the knowledge and all the start, helped them, and they're becoming competitors now. But we are the only vessels that have no engine, and they have still an engine on board. So it is not all 100% emission free. So we do the pure thing, and they do what they want to do. And but there are other companies. But I would say it is all about the organization. Have your organization ready and work. If you can build a boat, but if you don't have the whole organization around and in order, then it will fail. A lot of people fail as well if you don't have your things ready. Yeah, gentlemen.
How do you park without engine?
What they did, they could do the deal and the trick in the past. So they used the tools on board, and they were called anchors. Or they waited until there was a land breeze or a sea breeze to come into the harbor. Then they rowed the ships inside the harbors because light winds or no wind. Nowadays we can use tugboats, or if that is necessary, but usually we try to sail into the harbor using the wind and our tools, the anchors. This gentleman.
Well, connecting to that question, and then another question that is it allowed to sail into the harbor? Because in most like pleasure harbors in the Netherlands, it's not even allowed. So I can imagine that in big harbors.
They
or you just do it.
They first of all they don't know that we don't have an engine, because a ship like that should have an engine. But once they know, they will find out after the first time. You will tell them that what your intentions are, and sometimes they're really cool here in Rotterdam. They knew it, and they'll just let us sail up to the waterways.
Okay, nice.
Because they knew what we were doing, and they checked also the wind. There are huge windmills that show where the wind is from. So if that is in a good corner, yeah, then there wouldn't be any problem with other ships, because other ships need to stay out of your way, out of a sailing vessel's way, and that can be of making a problem, because big ships, they need to move for you, they have to turn, but if they don't have, is there no space, then there can be a horrible accident. Yeah.
A more serious question though is, at the end of the video you say that the revolution has begun. Has it?
Yeah.
Because the Sunday I was listening to the radio and then a BNR radio news program about batteries being developed for ships to make the transition to less oil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a really tech savvy, interesting business that a lot of money is going into, and they said so as well.
Yeah.
Is there money going into cargo under sail?
Yes, I see in the inshore shipping industry is changing very rapid. From they go now over to LNG. It's a cleaner gas than the diesel or fossil. There's also fossil fuel actually, but less polluting. For short sea shipping, short distance, you can use electric motor-driven engines and batteries. There is enough capacity. But once you go on a long distance, the capacity, like a Tesla, after 500 kilometers, then it also runs out. But at sea, you can use sail also to generate your batteries again by using the propeller you have on board the other way around, so it is like a dynamo. And that is, again, something new, nobody taken in account. And if you take a big sailing vessel like that and fill it up with batteries and a good electric engine, you can motor sail your way, and you can actually be precise on time if you want, if the client wants that. Yeah. There was already one with the microphone.
I was just going to ask, how accurate can you predict your arrival to ports with just wind, and also how does this affect the price of the goods that you end up creating from your commodities?
Two questions.
Yes.
We calculate an average of 4 knots an hour. So with the 4 knots, we can know from A to B what time we need to get there. So usually we sail faster than 4 knots, and we very little sail under 4 knots. If you go into European waters, we have an average of 3 knots, and we often come a week early or 2 weeks earlier. On the other side of the Atlantic Ocean in the Caribbean, and what we do then, we're gonna do some exploring and looking for new markets, but we are on time. We can be on time. Yeah.
I have it.
Oh yeah, and you the second question was the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take into account that the costs are higher because again oil is so cheap and subsidized by our states, by the oil states, that we can't compete. And the true price of cargo is actually 10 times more than it's right now, cargo carrying. And we just have our own cargo rate, and people that want to use it, use it. Yeah.
I was just going to ask approximately how long it takes you to cross from, say, Caribbean
to back home,
and then if you don't have battery or engine, how does the bilge work? Do you have flush toilets?
Yeah, we got flush. Sorry. Yeah, it would take from the Caribbean to the Azores. It usually takes about 20 days, and then some 15 days to Europe on average. Yeah. Our system, we have a system on board. We have electric system. We have all the navigation equipment that is necessary. We have satellite communication to receive weather reports. How this is all generated is by solar power, and we have a rope generator with a propeller on the end and onto a dynamo, so it charges our batteries. And our batteries already been in there for 10 years, so it still works. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry.
I can shout.
Yeah, the lady was here, has the...
I would like to ask if you think that this sustainable way of transporting can really go beyond this niche market of people who are actually aware of emission and ecology, or do you think that also demand should a little bit adjust, because now we are living in such a globalized world when we think that it's completely normal to have things from Caribbean every day in stock?
Yeah, that's the biggest question you actually asking. We should change our behavior of what we buy. We think everything is just around the corner, but it comes from so far away. 90% of all goods are transported over water, and it's 90% less, minus the 1% of what we are doing, is actually dirty, brought there with dirty fuel, and that should change. That has to change, because it all makes us sick, and a lot of stuff we don't need. We send empty containers, actually not even empty. We put them full with plastic and send them to Asia so it can be burned there. Yeah, while we here collect them, all as brave, brave burgers, like civil whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it is the biggest question. Are we going to continue like this and polluting more and more and more unnecessary, or do we change and rethink shipping? Really rethink shipping. Can it go on a more ecological, organic, or sustainable way? And it can. I showed you there. That ship is developed here, around, across the water. Actually, yeah, but Dijkstra, they were architects. Yeah, but it's not been sailing yet. We've been developing it since 2008. Why not? Biggest question. Yeah.
It's just a quick question. I know maybe a lot of people here run their own small businesses, and we ship things too. Are you currently just transporting raw materials like cocoa and rum, or can small people like send little things with you, like a print or a piece of jewelry, so that we too can support it in a small way? Like, are you equipped to do that?
Yeah, we started in the beginning. We started a package company, a package trade. So like a postage. You give your post towards us, and we deliver it on the other side. For example, in Bonaire. A good example, we did that, and it was pretty fun to do, because you got really connected with the people that gave it to you, the packages and all that stuff. But then you come into a port, and then you come into a bureaucracy, and that is not set up for civil people, ordinary people. Yeah, you need an agent again. It's really hard to get it through customs and then pick it up. You have to inform all those people to pick up the packages. Nobody is there, of course, on time. They don't have that scheduled. They're in a hospital or by the doctor or dentist. At that time, it's pretty difficult to get eventually the package to the customers. They also have to, if it is of value, they need to have they have to import it themselves. They have to write a whole letter about it and fill in forms and all that. So it is possible if the bureaucracy is changing as well. It makes it easier. Yeah. It is also, there's a lot of control by, actually it's almost monopolizing. You can't get in between the agents and the ships that are actually now working in Bonaire or in other islands. It's really hard to get into that in the organization. They really keep it silent.
One last question.
Well, I was just gonna say that competition is good. I think, like you sharing your knowledge, I think it's the thing that you have to do, because that multiplies the power of sustainability. Also, I think there's initiatives also from the Port of Rotterdam to put more tax on fossil fuels. So it's actually that's kind of a good way to be more competitive. Of course, like if they do discounts to you that you don't you're not polluting, so that's at least that's more of a competition. And kind of my question is, what has taken so much to build this last boat, 11 years, 10 years? Like, what has been the challenge? And how are you going to accomplish it? How are you going to start this boat going to go sailing?
Yeah, this big eco liner you're talking about, that ship we started to develop in 2008 with the intention to have it in the water and operating in 3 years. Didn't happen. There's a lot of money involved. The money is not the issue. It's getting cargo owners sign a 3 to 5 year contract to sail with you, so they can fill up part of the cargo hold with you. So the ship has a return of money coming into the ship, so it can operate itself. You need contracts in order to get finance. Just an idea like this and go to a bank, I need 22 million, it's not going to work. You need some return on your in your company to operate, return of money. So a contract, for example, for Heineken or Unilever, you talk about the big ones, or a lot of them here, you know, the cocoa business, the biggest cocoa harbor of Europe, maybe even the world, but cocoa in Europe. If they just give that to us, a contract for 5 years, sail about 6,000 kilos of 6,000 tons of cargo, you can sail, then we are in business. So then you can get the finance, then you can get the shareholders behind, because then you can crowdfund it or buy a shareholding, and then you can start sailing. You need a contract like that. And that the first players are always skeptic. They are thinking not always like, hey, this is an opportunity. No, what they think more than like, what does my competition think? Right? They always look like, they are a little bit ahead of the game, you know. But that has to change, though, yeah. And so that is kind of the issue why the ship is not there yet. And if we could, our own company is a trading company as well. If we could have 6,000 tons of coffee imported yearly, and we could distribute and sell it into Europe, then we would be in business. So it is also up to us as consumers and retailers to start buying our coffee this way. So that's how you can change together a whole system. What is now dirty, you can clean it up. But again, the big companies, they want to keep their powers. And they don't want those new ships. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for me to have not a big ship like this yet. In the world, what is actually going on now? We need to cut down on CO2 emission and pollution, and I think it's really happening. And the alternatives are there. Yeah? But we are in competition with oil, and you can't compete with oil because it's subsidized. It's too cheap. Yeah. So, and we should use oil for sustainable things, like making chairs, for example, and not cutting trees down. Yeah. And furniture, or use it for create products and even health products for medical medicines, and you can use that for. But don't burn oil. So it's 10 o'clock, and this is the end of the talk. I hope you come back next time, probably not in this place, but to another venue, and great to speak with you.